According to a recent report by the New York Times, Trump and Ted Cruz's rocky relationship is once again facing some trouble. This time, Trump is aggravated that the Texas senator has yet to endorse his 2024 presidential bid. Per a recent report from the New York Times, Ted, he shouldn't even exist, Trump said recently of Cruz, a 2016 rival. According to a person who heard remarks and recounted them soon after, I could have destroyed him. I kind of did destroy him in 2016 if you think about it, but then I let him live. So let's take a look, as a refresher, at how Trump destroyed Ted Cruz.
Matter of principle, and I'll tell you.
Biggest liar. You probably are worse than Jeb Bush.
In the case of Lion Ted Cruz, Lion Ted lies. Oh, he lies.
Trump retweeted a different meme today. This is what that looks like. Quote, no need to spill the beans. Spill the beans is in quotes. The images are worth 1,000 words. And it has a very attractive picture of Melania, and some would argue not so much for Heidi Cruz, Ted Cruz's wife.
I never expect to hear that from you again. She said he's a, that's terrible. Terrible.
His father. I don't know his father, I met him once. I think he's a lovely guy. I think he's a lovely guy. All I did is point out the fact that on the cover of the National Enquirer, there was a picture of him and crazy Lee Harvey Oswald having breakfast.
My favorite is Mike Pence back there nodding.
Definitely.
And then the next thing that spills out of Trump's mouth, he's just like.
Oh, that was good. I'm glad we provided that refresher. But despite all that, Cruz still went bootlicking to curry favor with Trump, and Trump ended up calling him Beautiful Ted. But could his failure to endorse jeopardize all of that? Last month, Trump gave this ominous warning to Cruz and fellow Senator Josh Hawley. In a Truth Social post last month, Trump warned that both the Texas Republican and Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri must be very careful in their 2024 re-election bids. Hawley, who otherwise faces a relatively easy path to re-election next year, quickly endorsed Trump after that. But in a Politico piece published earlier this week, Cruz still refused to endorse Trump. He stated, when Trump was president, he had no stronger ally in the Senate than me. And if he is the nominee, I will enthusiastically support his election in November. So why is Ted Cruz waiting to endorse Trump? Could it be that there's polling that indicates the race is a lot closer than some people might think? In New Hampshire, Nikki Haley is only 4 points behind Trump, according to a recent poll by American Research Group. Specifically, Trump only has 37% of the vote to Haley's 33%. So Cruz might be hoping that Haley pulls off a miracle, wins the primary, beats Trump, and then he's free of his bully. Mark, what do you think? What do you think Trump or Cruz's motivation is?
Yeah, I don't know. I love your thinking. You know, the 3D chess associated with somehow Trump faltering, and then Nikki Haley takes the lead, and then somehow Cruz and Haley, ride into the executive. I don't know. It's wild that Trump he's like a teenager, right? I mean, like with sort of, when I say that, I mean like hormones would determine these sudden mood changes and then sudden position changes. In the case of Trump, I mean, could you have possibly kissed more butt than Cruz had? And somehow still, Trump turns on him like a rabid animal. It's just terrific. Trump is as unpredictable as the most unpredictable person in your life. And then, multiply that. It's crazy.
I think there's some fatigue for Republicans in DC because of that. Because Trump has no object permanence. He would just get distracted by whatever he saw on Fox, whatever the cultural zeitgeist was, that would be his obsession for 48 to 72 hours. And I think them trying to keep up with his TV consumption habits, which ultimately influenced how he ran the country, they probably were tired of that. Coupled with him directly insulting Cruz's wife. And a lot of people called him pathetic for not sticking up to Trump, ultimately endorsing Trump and campaigning on his behalf. After that, I don't think most normal people would do that,
right.
But he did, which is pathetic. But I think they know they needed to serve the party and they fight for the party. That's who they are. That's the apparatus they're in because they control the strings. The party apparatus controls the string. If that's the nominee, they're gonna control where the money goes for congressional races. So he needed that money in 2018, he knew that. He's going to need it again in 2024. So who knows? I don't want to give him too much credit, but there seems to be an element of just he's over it. He's an opportunist. He's going to support Trump, like he says, if he's the nominee. But I think he and many others in Washington are just so tired of Trump. They don't want anything to do with him. They know he's good for fundraising. He can still be that conduit if he sets his ego aside. But
that is so well put. A few things you said really deserve to be underscored. I think they are over him, but they also realize, as you say, the machine operates in the area with the most gravitational force, and the most political gravitational force is around Trump right now. And thank you for reminding me that Trump is essentially driven by the things he's seen on television. I totally had forgotten that for a moment. And you're right, Fox News just leads the dialogue. And I love the reference to object permanence too, because yeah, that's the mercurial nature of his personality. It's the, whatever the last thing he heard was. So yeah, of course, how could they possibly have any respect for this guy? They don't, and privately they talk about it, but because of the apparatuses, to use your word, of Washington, they know what they have to do. They have to fall in line.
Thanks for watching. If you become a member, you get to watch all this ad-free, except for, of course, this ad. Still, hit the join button below.